The last time is now. On December 13th, 2025, one of the greatest wrestling careers of all time will come to an end. At Saturday night's main event, John Cena's farewell tour will officially come to an end, streaming on Peacock, and he will have his final match from Washington, D.C. We've covered here how WWE probably should have delivered better during Cena's farewell tour up to this point. You can check out those videos on our channel here with Sportskeeda Wrestling, where we have done a lot of detail about how this probably could have been better. But it's not about that. It's about how it ends and who it ends with. The man who will be Cena's final opponent in his momentous final match. It's a career-defining accolade to have the credit of being the man who wrestled John Cena in his last performance in the ring. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. I'm Kevin Kelm, and unlike Cena, we can see your comments. Yes, you want some? Come get some in the comments. Who do you think should get the honor of being the last man to face John Cena? We want to know your hot take. Let us know right now. And give that like button a 5-knuckle shuffle. Subscribe to Sportskeeda Wrestling for more videos just like this. It isn't going to be AJ Styles. It isn't going to be CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, or even Randy Orton, and it's very unlikely it'll be the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, despite a trilogy of matches that may set that up. So who could it be? At this time, it has not been officially confirmed who will face Cena, but let's dig into the likely candidates and what they bring to the table and determine who gets to close out the leader of the C Nation. Let's start with one man that has been discussed quite heavily in this specific discourse and topic. Yes, the resentful and former WWE champion who seemingly has never gotten the redemption of carrying WWE through the pandemic, Drew McIntyre. On paper, this tall, lumbering, mean Scottish wrestler makes a lot of sense because Cena and McIntyre have never actually crossed paths in a single match. That would be a unique presentation. They faced each other in Fatal 4-Ways, Elimination Chambers, multi-man tag team matches, as recently as SmackDown in August. But to see them face off for the first time, one-on-one, would be quite incredible, especially under these circumstances. After a frustrating start-and-stop push for Drew McIntyre that seems to continue on, it would be something he deserves as someone who spent a lot of time with WWE. Yes, we know you are already yelling about someone who deserves it more. There's a lot of emotions here. Let us know in the comments. But with McIntyre, no matter what he gives to WWE, regardless of how frustrated it might be, especially for his character and the fans who've now turned on him, he's always made the most of it. The fact that they've never crossed paths before could be interesting, but how effectively can you build up to that story when Cena has noted that he has limited dates before he calls it a career? The issue would then draw on McIntyre playing into the past, and what is the past between him and Cena? I don't know, John Cena and David Otunga for some reason dethroning him and Cody for the tag team championships 15-odd years ago. We bet even most of you watching WWE back in 2010. So in that regard, there isn't too much bare bones substance for the rivalry beyond it being a dream match with immortality at stake for McIntyre. That's the real point to play on. Whoever faces Cena in this match will have that honor and designation, win or lose, forever. So while McIntyre is a good and likely deserving candidate, is he the best for the story that needs to be told in John Cena's final match? McIntyre's current hot and cold temperature within WWE ranks, and him not being built up for the momentum right now, maybe the timing just isn't right. The next candidate is one of the youngest, brightest stars in WWE, but also one of the most despised. WWE Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio. Many fans wanted to see Cena versus Dirty Dom in his retirement tour, but during his feud with internet celebrity turned, yes, very reliable pro wrestler Logan Paul, Cena even referenced him by naming better superstars he could have faced. When looking at the character compatibility situation between Dom and Cena, it seems like the sleazy, underhanded tactics of Dirty Dom would be the perfect counterbalance to the valiant good guy of good guys in John Cena. Wow, just saying this out loud sounds wild. If he defeats John Cena in his final match, that's probably the rocket that can send him to the main event level. It would make him an eternal villain in the eyes of many. Many have started to speculate that Dirty Dom is destined for a WWE World Championship run in the future, and his current run as the AAA Mega Champion seems to be a litmus test to see if he can run with the top title in a promotion. In this specific circumstance, having the Intercontinental Championship may serve as a hindrance to making Dirty Dominik Cena's final opponent. Yeah, does John Cena need to win the IC title to have a Grand Slam Championship run in his final match? Yeah, it's not the thing he needs to go out on. Imagine the promos between Dom and Cena. The match they would have would be fantastic with those elements as well. It's exactly the type of match where you just know the crowd is going to go berserk before the bell even rings. To Dirty Dom's credit though, just because he's not the right guy for Cena's final opponent doesn't mean he should be one of Cena's last few opponents. It would make a lot more sense for that match to happen on an episode of Raw, since Cena could be a part of War Games at Survivor Series coming up in November. Having that match on an episode of Raw, or maybe even SmackDown, instead of a premium live event doesn't downgrade the value of it at all, especially in this modern times. We got Sami Zayn versus Cena in a banger on SmackDown in Chicago. I was there, it ruled. There have been so many premium live event level matches on Raw and SmackDown with crowd reactions going back and forth. It would still be special. The best part is that even if it's on Raw, the IC title doesn't need to be on the line. Cena doesn't actually need to lose. That's also something we feel we need to see from Cena on the way out, dishing out beatings and reminding you who he is before his final fight. He got squashed by Brock Lesnar at WrestlePalooza. It is what it was. But the last times are now on this farewell tour. We need Cena to be supercharged in these special outings before he calls it a career. Those final visits for Cena in special wrestling arenas across America could see him interact, hopefully, with old heated rivals like The Miz, someone who has publicly advocated to face Cena before he's done. Miz defined himself as a WWE champion and WWE lifer, facing Cena and main eventing WrestleMania 27 in 2011 with Big Match John, but the match was not as big as this final John Cena match could be. Unfortunately, it's not awesome timing for Mike Mizanin, and in the real world of WWE right now, he's just not the guy to end it for Cena. Another fresh option would be Jacob Fatu. Fatu hasn't been as hot as he was in 2024, though he has had some bright spots, and his debut period was exciting. WWE appears to be building him up, though, in a potential high-stakes feud with someone else who has something to lose in Drew McIntyre. That program, though, could distract him from having the big send-off with Cena. Still, as any candidate for Cena's final match has to face, does it make sense? Yeah. Jacob Fatu is a babyface, a fan favorite right now, so it doesn't make any sense right now for this match. Fatu would lose more in the short term than he would gain in the long term, and it would divert from the natural path of him cementing his own place in WWE, while his cement within WWE is still pretty wet. Fatu is busy with McIntyre, and that's what he's likely going to deal with for the foreseeable future. We have a great idea, by the way, for Jacob versus Drew. Check out that video. Our idea is pretty sweet. If you're an old school WCW fan, you might really like it. So realistically, where does that leave us within WWE's roster? Who is the option for Cena to face in his final match? Yes, one who would make sense. One who's been reported but not officially confirmed at this time, and perhaps the best option, the Ring General, Gunther. With the sky-high expectations applied to this specific match by both casual and die-hard fans, Gunther's brutality, an inhumane character, would provide the gravity to reel everyone in to the fundamental dance that this needs to be. Cena is the hero, and he needs the villain. A villain who seeks immortality by ending Cena's career and conquesting over his legacy at the end. Gunther hasn't been seen since SummerSlam 2025, when he lost the World Heavyweight Championship to CM Punk. But that time off allows him to chop his way in and be fully charged, throwing down a challenge with his electric, still very dangerous credibility for Cena. John Cena Sr., John Cena's father, even picked Gunther as the perfect opponent for John's final match. Check out that interview over on WrestleBinge here on YouTube. Since it didn't happen at WrestleMania 41, it's best if it happens on December 13th. The match sets itself up in some way. The dynamic between the two characters couldn't be more perfect. Gunther is the bully who goes forward with brute force, while Cena is the guy who takes out bullies and displays compassion and ideals that make him the character he truly is. In this simple but still magical dynamic, there's so much we could get out of it. The energy for such a match would be seismic. Since Gunther is already an established main event tier superstar, this is the way to bring him back and throw him right into the mix again for a possible world title run beyond December. Who knows? Maybe Gunther can defeat John Cena and move over to SmackDown, become the guy that dethrones Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 42, or just gets to main event with Cody and have something special. To get that, he will need to beat Cena in this very consequential match. Even if their in-ring styles are bound to result in a match that will blow the roof off the building, how it ends and who leaves the winner is certainly something that people will be talking about. Another good thing is that Saturday night's main event with this all-important match is going to stream in prime time exclusively in the United States on Peacock. And it may not have the same time limits that you had when we saw Gunther and Goldberg face off in Goldberg's final match, which was also presented as a part of Saturday night's main event, but was on Peacock and terrestrial television with NBC. Just imagine how it's going to look on Gunther's resume when it says he was not just the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, a world champion, but the final opponent of Goldberg and John Cena, and it happened in the same calendar year. It can become a part of the Ring General's character, boasting that he defeated John Cena in his final match, making it worth more than any other championship he's won or could win in the future. Like we said, it's the perfect way to bring Gunther to the next level. And no one would be talking about how he lost a match to Sami Zayn at a WrestleMania or lost to Jey Uso at a WrestleMania. No, he's the guy who ended Cena. That's if he's the guy who ends Cena. Either way, Gunther fits the billing a lot more than any other that we've mentioned here or anyone else in WWE. And if you say it's predictable, who cares? He's the right guy at the right time to face John Cena as his last ever opponent at Saturday night's main event on December 13th. The last time is now. The right guy is Gunther. WWE needs to do everything they can to make this final retirement match as sweet and as satisfying as possible for one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. What do you think? What do you need to see from John Cena in his final match? What's your favorite John Cena match you've seen? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe with those notifications on so you know when we drop new videos just like this.